Don't we just love breaking news? And it's all sorted. And we can tell you that the fee is 92.5 million plus 7.5 million in add-ons. So it'll round up to nearly 100 million pounds.
And he's a fantastic player. He's a young player. He's electric. We've seen what he can do with Real Madrid, playing in the Champions League. He's got that kind of experience as well. He's a winner. So I think that would be a great signing. To be honest, though, even him, being one of the best wingers in the world, he's going to have to get used to the Premier League because it's a lot more physical than La Liga.
Vinicius Jr. to Arsenal. Let that sit for a moment, because right now, this is not some fantasy discussion from a slow news day. This is coming from real reporting, a real contract situation at Real Madrid, and a real possibility that has every major club in Europe paying attention. And Arsenal need to be right there at the front of the queue. Because while Real Madrid are telling Vinicius Jr. to sign a new deal or risk being placed on the market, Arsenal are already being kept informed of how this situation develops. At the same time, Arsenal are dealing with major changes across the squad, from the Saliba injury to the need for a new elite left-sided attacker. So the question is simple. Could the biggest attacking signing of Arsenal's modern era suddenly become possible? And if it does, can Mikel Arteta move fast enough to make it happen? Real Madrid's ultimatum puts Vinicius Jr. on Arsenal's radar. Tonight, we begin with a story that, only a short time ago, would have sounded almost impossible. Because according to the latest reporting, Vinicius Jr.'s future at Real Madrid is no longer being treated as completely untouchable, and that alone changes everything. For years, Vinicius has been viewed as one of the great faces of Real Madrid's future. A generational attacker. One of the most feared wingers in world football. A player capable of turning Champions League nights on their head with a single burst of pace, a single dribble, a single moment of brilliance. But now, Real Madrid have reportedly made their position crystal clear. Renew the contract, or prepare to be sold. That is not soft language. That is not a vague warning. That is a direct message from the top of the club. And when Florentino Perez decides to speak that plainly, everybody in European football pays attention. Arsenal certainly are. Stay with us because over the next few minutes we'll explain why this situation has become so serious, why Arsenal are among the clubs being kept informed, what the contract stalemate really means, and whether this could actually open the door to one of the most dramatic transfer stories of the summer. Because this is not simply about speculation. This is about timing. This is about leverage. This is about one of the best players in the world approaching a contract crossroads while the biggest clubs in Europe decide whether to wait, push, or move. And for Arsenal, there is a very clear football reason why they cannot ignore this situation. They need a world-class left-sided attacker. They need elite pace. They need someone who can decide the biggest matches. And if a player like Vinicius Jr. becomes even remotely available, Arsenal would be mad not to explore it. Now let's start with the most important development. Real Madrid are reportedly prepared to sell Vinicius if he does not sign a new contract. That is the key point. This is not a story that has come out of nowhere. It has been building for some time. The contract situation has been drifting. The wage talks have been complicated. And the club know exactly what the risk is. If no agreement is reached, Vinicius enters the final year of his deal in 2026. And if that keeps dragging on, Real Madrid face the nightmare scenario, losing one of their biggest stars for free in 2027. For a club like Real Madrid, that is not a scenario they are prepared to accept quietly. So Florentino Perez has reportedly delivered a direct message. Sign the new deal, or the market opens up. That is the pressure hanging over this negotiation right now. And it is enormous. Because Vinicius is not just any player. He is one of the most explosive attackers in the world. At his best, he is the kind of footballer who changes the entire shape of a game. He terrorizes defenders. He creates chaos. He drags teams out of shape. He gives elite coaches a weapon almost no one else can match. That is exactly why Real Madrid are so desperate to resolve this. And it is exactly why Arsenal have been placed on alert. According to the reporting, Arsenal are one of several clubs being kept informed as the situation develops. Now, that does not mean Arsenal have launched a bid. It does not mean negotiations are underway at club level. And it does not mean the deal is close. What it does mean is that Arsenal are in the loop. They are aware. They are positioned.